Hi everyone, my name is Tamid Saleh, and have we had some great matches in the US Open these past couple of days? Roger Federer, 20-time Grand Slam champion, is out of the US Open. We are not going to have our first ever Fedal match in New York. He was beaten by Grigor Dimitrov, someone who had never beaten him in his career. Yeah, he beat him 7 times in a row. But like the old saying, no one beats Dimitrov 8 times in a row. But yeah, he is now out. And also, Medvedev has beaten Stan Wawrinka to reach his first ever semi-final in a Grand Slam. The focus of this video will be, can Daniil Medvedev win this year's US Open? If you haven't already, then please do subscribe, as I do release weekly videos on tennis as well as additional content during the big tournaments like the US Open. And in my last video, I was looking at Novak Djokovic getting booed off the court due to retiring injured. So if you want to check that out, I'll be putting a link up here and also in the description below. But yeah, this video I want to look at the upcoming matches of the US Open, and also, can Daniil Medvedev win it this year? Without further ado, let's roll the intro.
That's astonishing. It's absolutely
Where to begin? Daniil Medvedev versus Grigor Dimitrov, US Open semi-final. We are going to have a first-time finalists. Neither of these two players have, of course, reached a Grand Slam final before. And who will it be? Will it be the new rising star Daniil Medvedev, or the resurgent Dimitrov? One fun fact, or interesting fact rather, was that before the US Open began, Dimitrov had lost 7 of his last 8 matches. That is, he was just bombing out first round every tournament, once in the second round. And where has this form come from? He has just, turned it around. He had obviously a great year in 2017 where he reached a career high third in the rankings and also won the World Tour finals. Since then he's had a bit of a dip, but yeah, this is just him back to his best now. He played some wonderful stuff against Roger Federer. Admittedly, when he was 2-1 down, I felt like the match at that time was over, but he came back. Roger Federer did state that he had some back problems, during the match, but yeah, let's not take anything away from Grigor there. Likewise with Medvedev, struggling with injury. And one thing I must say about Daniil Medvedev, he is not shy on expressing himself against the crowd. Now, as you guys should be aware, that he's been facing a lot of criticism and a lot of stick from the New York crowd due to him acting a bit aggressively to a ball boy at an earlier round. He's been getting a lot of boos, and if anything, he's actually been playing off it. So after all his matches, in the interviews, he's been saying that keep up the boos. It's helping him give motivation to win, and he became like a pantomime villain. In his last round, however, after beating Stan, the crowd were a bit more even in terms of the cheering and the booing, and he did come out and say, "Look, guys, I'm sorry for what I did, obviously," and I feel like he wants to put that aside now. And fair play to him. He seems to have warmed up slightly to the New York crowd, a tough crowd, I might add. And with Novak Djokovic out, with Federer out, it's opened up nicely. I think one thing we forget is everyone was saying how tough a draw that, it was for Novak or it was for Federer. But if you look at it, Daniil Medvedev had an absolute horrible draw. He was predicted to face Novak Djokovic in the quarterfinals, followed by Roger Federer in the semifinals, and then of course Rafa Nadal in the final. That was his projected routes. It looked like an impossible task beating all 3 of the big 3. But yeah, he has not had to beat Novak Djokovic, and he will not have to beat Roger Federer to reach the final. Most likely, I think he will have to beat Nadal to win it. But yeah, it's opened up nicely for him. One thing I would like to quickly tell you guys, a couple of videos ago, I asked you guys where you think most of my, followers or views were coming from in terms of country. A lot of you guessed. I did state that India was 4th in terms of how much my content is watched. And I'll just tell you guys the top 3. The country that watches my videos the most is, probably no surprise, USA. Second place, UK, where I'm from. And in third place, now a lot of you guys said Australia, Canada, etc. But it is actually Serbia. So I probably do have a lot of Novak fans on here. And yeah, so UK, USA, UK, Serbia, India, and then it's Australia and Canada. So that makes up the top 6. I just thought I would answer that question as I forgot to do that in my previous video. So quickly focusing on the Daniil Medvedev Dimitrov semi-final. Medvedev and Dimitrov, they have a 1-1 in terms of their head-to-head. However, both matches did take place in 2017. And I think it will be a matchup that probably suits Medvedev. Now, look, I know I've seen all the strappings he's had, and he's had his fair share of injury problems and scares. He's played a lot of tennis this summer. He reached the Washington final, the Montreal final, the Cincinnati final, and he's now also gone deep in USA. He's into the semi-final, so he's played so much tennis this year. He's in fact won the most matches out of anyone in the ATP tour. So fatigue and injury could come into it. However, I feel like personally, you know, with the way Medvedev plays, it's similar to Novak in some sense, and of course Dimitrov is like a carbon copy of Federer. So yeah, the matchup for me personally, I feel like it would suit Medvedev more. The extra height and the serve he has. Personally, without, you know, if he doesn't get injured or not, I believe Medvedev will reach his first Grand Slam final. He is already world number 4. That will be announced on Monday when the updated rankings come out. So he has replaced Dominic Thiem, and he's also 4th place in the race. He is well on his way to London. I believe he's still got a little bit more just to 100% guarantee that he will play in London in the ATP World Tour Finals, of course. But yeah, he'll get there, because of course the boundary you need to pass to qualify for it, it's just going to get lower as the year goes on. So I reckon he'll make the World Tour Finals. And yeah, let's just look a little bit further towards who they may face in the final. The odds-on favourite is of course Rafa Nadal. Now, there's no disrespect to any of his opponents. Right now, as I'm recording this, we have Monfils versus Berrettini. Monfils is a setup in that match, so it looks pretty good for him. And then the other semi-final later on tonight will be Nadal-Schwartzman. Yeah, I can't really see past Nadal not reaching the final there, especially with the other big two out. This is a golden opportunity for Rafa to get that Grand Slam 19. At the beginning of the tournament, I did make my prediction on who I think will win. This was, you know, at the beginning of the tournament, and I did back Rafa rather to win Grand Slam 19. So let's assume Rafa will make the final. His head-to-head against both of these guys, Dimitrov or Medvedev, is really good. Especially Dimitrov, he has a 12-1 head-to-head lead against Grigor. And the funny thing is, the first time Grigor defeated him was after losing the first 7 times. So identical to Federer. And he's got a 1-0 head-to-head lead against Medvedev. The only time they faced was earlier on, just about a month ago in Montreal, where Rafa absolutely demolished him 6-3, 6-love in that final. So whoever reaches the final will have a very tough task against Rafa. I feel it will be a Medvedev-Nadal final, and then it's a case of, can Medvedev win the US Open? Personally, I feel like just reaching the semi-final is a massive step up for him. It is his first semi-final, and reaching the final will be another massive step. I think it's a bit too soon to beat Rafa, especially the motivation Rafa will have now to win this tournament. And I feel like the Montreal match, it will give Rafa extra confidence, and also may prove to be a bit of a mental block for Medvedev. In the future, I can see Medvedev definitely winning multiple slams, but I still feel like Rafa will win the US Open. But I am definitely interested to see the rest of this tournament play out. Yes, we've got 2 of the big 3 missing now, but it doesn't shorten the excitement and the buzz. Like, I am actually buzzing to see how this plays out. Unfortunately for me, the US Open, it's a bit of a weird time for me. I, of course, live in London, so a lot of these matches are taking place at 2 a.m, 3 a.m. at night. Of course, I work in the morning, so I'm trying to fit in as much tennis as I can during the night and the evening sessions to make the most of my watch time availability. But yeah, we still move on. The show goes on, whether I'm watching it or not, of course. Let me know what you think. Can Medvedev win his first Grand Slam title in New York in a couple of days' time? Whether he wins it or not, this is, you know, it's still a massive step up for Medvedev. We've been waiting years, let's be honest, for one of these next gen or younger players to come through and really challenge the big 3. Now look, admittedly, Medvedev has not had to beat any of the big 3 to get to the semi-finals, but you know, in Cincinnati he won it. He did beat Novak Djokovic there. He beat Novak Djokovic earlier on in the year as well, and he's shown that consistency now. This summer has been epic for Medvedev. Let's not take anything away from that. And I feel like he is the real deal. He's shown consistency. Admittedly, others have in the past as well, but there's something different about Medvedev. There's that star quality, and he's not afraid to speak his opinion as well. Before I end this video, I'd just like to quickly give a shout out to a good friend of mine. He is Suats. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but yeah, he is a massive tennis fan. He started a channel as well. Please show him some love. I'll put a link to his channel in the description below. I enjoy watching a lot of his videos. I do learn a lot from what he has to say as well, so keep up the good work. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, please do leave a comment. I say this all the time. I love reading your comments. I respond to all, well, I respond to most, if not all of your comments. And if you've enjoyed this video, please do leave a thumbs up and subscribe for future content. Thank you very much.
Game, set, and match. Game,